is Be Ready, the perfect starting point for Advent as we get ready for Christmas and the coming of the baby Christ. But how do you talk about this without saying what always gets said? Getting ready for Christmas isn't about buying and spending, it's about putting Jesus in the middle, which is absolutely true, of course. But if you'll forgive me for being a little bit self-indulgent, I want to take this somewhere just slightly different today. Because I feel like this year I've learned one or two things about preparing for something and not knowing exactly when it's going to happen. And there's going to be a big change in our household soon, and I know that this is an experience that a lot of you have had as well. So I think there are some messages in there for us about the kind of getting ready that we mean when we talk about getting ready for the real meaning of Christmas. So yeah, first, it is true that neither of these are about buying and spending. I'll be honest, I went into this pregnancy thinking that the wedding industry was absolutely insane, the way they add a zero to the end of the reasonable price of anything. Turns out the baby industry is just as bad, and yet we do fall for it. I was literally writing this talk, and I wanted to make a point about this overpriced sheep nightlight that I'd seen. You know the one I'm talking about, don't you? So I went and looked it up on Amazon, and I literally had to close the tab because I found myself wondering which colour would look nicest in our nursery. It was £50, by the way. It's a nightlight shaped like a sheep. And we all know that Christmas can be exactly the same if we let it. It is so tempting to start your shopping in September and then stretch the spending over what amounts to a third of the year so that we don't have to watch it adding up, and go completely bonkers on Santa-shaped napkin rings and chocolates that we are going to eat and replace 6 times over anyway. And while there is good in creating opportunities to be together with the people that you love and showing your affection through a well-chosen gift, I think we know that these things do ultimately detract from the real meaning of Christmas. And they can even lead us to feeling bitter about the whole thing that we definitely want to guard against. So what can we do instead to get ready for that big day? Well, here are my 3 top tips from someone who has spent most of this year getting ready for a momentous change while knowing not the hour that it will come. Firstly, learn everything you can. More than buying stuff, it's the books that I've read and the antenatal classes that we've started doing that have been invaluable. And the most important thing that I think I've done in this pregnancy is speak to other people that have been through it. There is a whole community out there of people that have walked this path before us, and they want to help guide us safely and sanely through it. And it's the same with coming to Christ. It might feel completely and utterly overwhelming to start with, which is actually kind of the point, when you realise that as human beings, we're not really meant to be able to understand the sheer magnitude of God. But there's the Bible, and there's your community, and we're so blessed to live in a time where there are dozens of great options for Christian education to help you get started. This church runs 3 different small groups, one in the daytime, one in the evening, and one monthly on a Saturday morning, so that they can fit around as many people's schedules as possible. We've got a church library in the children's room that you're free to just help yourself to whenever you want. If anyone's familiar with the Bible in 1 year by Nicky and Pippa Gumble, you might have seen that recently they've launched a 30-day video series on YouTube and Facebook. None of the videos are more than 10 minutes long, and each one is designed to deliver one key message to help you grow your faith. So that's the first thing, getting ready for the baby Jesus. Learn everything you can. And then the second thing that I've learned this year is that in the face of massive change, you have to be open to changing your lifestyle. I'm really lucky. Since I'm vegan, it means I've escaped most of the don't eat this and don't eat that of pregnancy. But I'd be lying if I didn't say that sometimes I do have dreams of having a Starbucks full caffeine toffee nut latte, especially when year 8 are being feral and my brain just does not think it can do it without caffeine. And I think in this age of hyper-individualism and personal freedom, we do get our backs up a little bit about the idea of anything changing our lifestyles. We feel somehow that we fundamentally should be allowed to carry on as we did before, and new changes can just fit around us or they weren't meant for us. But I think that's a short-sighted approach. We're talking about changing your life, not losing anything. James and I are not going to be going on as many impromptu dinner dates next year, but I finally have an excuse to go to as many farm parks and aquariums as I want. There are going to be fewer Stephen King novels and more bedtime stories in my future. But I can't wait to snuggle up in a big chair with a sleepy baby and introduce them to the world that started me off on a lifetime love of reading. Approach Christ the same way. Yes, being a Christian and leading a Christian life realistically probably does mean changes to how you and your family live. But that's how you let the good things in. Committing to showing up on a Sunday morning isn't about losing out on what you would have been doing instead. It's about being with your community in love and faith, recharging your spiritual batteries for the week to come and letting God know that He is a priority in your life. And you might lose a couple of friends when you start being open about your faith, and I do sympathise with how devastating that can be. But genuinely, time spent with them was not time well spent. Surround yourself with godly people and people who might not have their own faith but are supportive of yours, and give yourself the best possible chance of sticking to your commitment to get to know Christ. Lastly, what I think is the most important lesson that I've learned over the past 7 months. Accept that you can never truly be ready. Approach any huge change humbly, with your eyes open to what it might create for you, but without thinking that you're going in with a full battle plan and all the answers. 100 people can tell me that I am going to be more tired than I have ever been in my life when this baby comes. And I do believe them, I do. But I also know that I can't really know what they mean until I'm 6 weeks deep in the sleep deprivation and trying to put a nappy on the cat. And it's all well and good, me having a beautiful, well-thought-out, colour-coded birth plan, but what is actually going to happen on that day, only God knows. And I have had to learn to accept and even try to embrace that, so that I'm ready if I need to change my mind, if I need to make new decisions, accept help, or just give in to feeling a little bit lost. And it is the same with getting ready to welcoming God into your heart. I said earlier that as human beings, we aren't meant to be able to understand the magnitude of God. He is so far beyond the human experience that I think it's respectful, even worshipful, to say, I don't get him. He's too big for me to grasp. The moment that I think I fully know God, I've reduced him to so much less than he's capable of being. And the moment I say, I can't fully grasp him, I open my mind and my heart to miracles that could change my family's lives. I want to believe in a God that I can't fully be ready for. Because then when I feel completely outfaced by an impossible situation and I have no idea how to move forwards, I'll know that he is big enough to bring it to him and trust him to step in. So get ready for God, for Jesus. Get ready for Christmas, but while you're getting ready, be open to the idea that they could be more than you'll ever imagine. And embrace it. Get excited about the limitless possibilities it brings. Get ready to witness pure, genuine magic. Now, please don't misinterpret anything I've said this morning as me trying to get ready, me trying to claim that getting ready for this baby is the same as giving yourself to Jesus. Like, I know parents are biased, but even I'm not that deluded. But I think getting ready for an earthly baby can be a good way to think about getting ready for the Christmas birth. We know that our lives are never going to be the same again. We are so excited and we feel so inadequate. We want to do everything we can to get ourselves ready to be the people that we're going to need to be when the waiting is over. James and I know that when this baby arrives, it's not going to be about the one-day event. Our world's going to change. And that's the attitude that I invite you all to take into Advent. If you found out that you had just 4 little weeks to get ready for such a momentous event, what would you do to prepare today? Because I don't think it would be Santa-shaped